Welcome to 100 Yards of Football. It's our history special. You know it's draft time right now here in the month of February. The combine is coming up in a couple of more weeks. So what more do we do here at 100 Yards Football? We like to go in past tense. So today, it's going to be the 1981 NFL Draft versus the 1983 Draft. If you like the video today, please comment and share it. I'm Vincent Turner, as I'm going to take the 1983 Draft, and my man, special guest. He played for the Atlanta Falcons 12 years. He was a first-round selection in the 1981 draft. He's out of Florida State University. The legend, Mr. Bobby Butler, is going to join me today. If you like the video, please comment and share as we're going to get into meats and potatoes of which draft was better. So for further ado, I'm going to bring up the man from Florida State. Dun, 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 dun. Mr. Bobby Butler, how you doing, sir?
Good. How you doing today, man?
All right, let's get to it, sir.
Well, let's get to it.
You saying the 81 draft is better than 83, so put it out there. You was drafted number 1, 25th pick overall in the draft. I'm going to let you have the floor.
Well, let me say this. The 1981 draft was a special draft. We had guys who changed the game, changed the face of the game in our draft. We were more of a defensive heavy-laden draft. In 1981, in our first round, we had greats like George Rogers was our first number 1 pick, out of the University of South Carolina, Heisman Trophy winner, followed by the great Lawrence Taylor.
Yes, sir.
Lawrence Taylor changed the face of the game on defense at his outside linebacker position. He was a guy that, on top of being a forceful player when the ball came at him, he making great plays, sacking quarterbacks, making tackles for losses in the backfield, things like that. He was the first guy you saw run down running backs from the backside. Mm-hmm. So really showed the kind of speed he had in the game. He changed the game. He revolutionized the defensive end, outside linebacker spot. And then we had guys like Mike Singletary, who was a great inside linebacker. And so when I say defensive heavy, we were defensive heavy. We had 6 DBs drafted in the first round. We had 3 safeties, 3 cornerbacks, Kenny Easley, Ronnie Lott, both Hall of Famers, right? Ronnie Lott was a game changer. He changed the game of football from a safety standpoint in the National Football League. He was a big-time hitter. He was good enough not only just to be a great safety, he was a great corner. He was an all-pro at both positions in the league. And then we had another great talent that played at USC as well, named Dennis Smith. Dennis was a great high jumper, 7'2" high jumper at USC. He was an all-pro player at USC. So we had 3 strong safeties in the first round. Then we had the corners to come late in the first round.
Yes, sir.
Started by my homeboy, played in the high school all-star game together, down in Tarpon Springs, Mr. Ted Watt,
yes,
first round pick of the Oakland Raiders.
Yes, sir.
Followed by Hanford Dixon, first round pick of Cleveland Browns. Hanford was a great player,
yes,
Pro
sir.
Bowler. And then I was the 3rd cornerback selected, the last defensive back to get drafted in the first round. So we were heavy in the first round with defensive players. We had people like Hugh Green out of Pittsburgh. We had offensive linemen like Mark May, Russ Grimm. I mean, I can go on and on. The Hall of Famers, the Pro Bowlers that we had. And then we had guys that came in the second round that could have been first rounders, like Eric Wright, cornerback for the 49ers out of Missouri.
Good football player. Great
football player, man. Looks really good. And then we had guys like Chris Collinsworth, who was a second-round pick, but he was the second receiver selected by the Bengals. They had David Burst out of Kansas, big guy, about 6'3", about 220, ran like a 4.3 40. But, old Florida boy kind of took his job. Chris Collinsworth, University of Florida, 6'5",
yes, sir.
215 pounds.
Yes, sir.
Won the state championship in the 100-yard dash his junior year in high school in the state of Florida. So that speaks volume about the athleticism he had. And then we had another receiver that came from South Carolina State, all right, by the name of Downtown.
Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown. I know you would like that one, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Charlie was a great draft choice. And he was drafted, I think, like in the 8th round.
Yes, sir.
So we had some great players. He was a Pro Bowl in the 8th round out of that school. A plethora of great athletes. And so I put our draft up against the 83 draft because I see the 83 draft more so like an offensive-laden draft. I mean, it's a quarterback-heavy draft. We were a defensive, heavy draft. And so I can go on and on talking about my group. We were special.
Yes, sir. And I appreciate that. If you like the video today, please come in and share it. I'm gonna be very candid, and of course, I'm not gonna go against the legend. But however, you know, I'm from the 901, and I gotta represent. And on Monday, my father's birthday is Monday, and my mother's is on Wednesday.
Okay.
So
Happy
I gotta
birthday.
represent.
You gotta represent.
Now you're right. It was the '83 draft was offensive. They had 6 quarterbacks that went in the first round. 3 made the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Jim Kelly, John Elway, Dan Marino. But I'm gonna talk about the Hall of Famers first.
Okay, go ahead.
There were 7 of them. We know what Jim Kelly did. We know what Dan Marino did and John Elway. Then Bruce Matthews, big guard out of USC. Played about 17 years in the league. But I'm going to talk about the dogs we had. I'm going to start with my home state, Richard Dent.
Okay, Richard
Tennessee
Dent,
State.
All right.
Local guy to Murphy High School. Can I say the 1885 Chicago Bears defense? And you saw it up close and personal.
Yes, I did.
Then I'm going to talk about the young man out of Texas A&I who was one of the fastest players in the league. Can I mention his name, Darryl Green?
Darryl Green, okay.
And then you talk about defense. Now, y'all had some great defense. I'm not going to go up against Lawrence Taylor. No question about it, the greatest linebacker ever played in my book. But I'm going to start with some names that maybe can give a little spice to the 81 draft. You said defensive player. I'm going to start with the young man out of SMU, Wes Hopkins.
It's a great safety.
Okay, then I'm going to start with the man that was probably one of the best one-on-one corners, my man Albert Lewis out of Grambling under the great Eddie Robinson.
Absolutely.
Then I'm going to start with Greg Townsend, defensive tackle, Pro Bowler with the Raiders.
Yes.
Then I'm going to start, since you brought up LT, think about this. LT was very successful because he had that big black stud in the middle, Leonard Marshall out of LSU. Yes. Then I'm going to talk about Charles Mann. Since you brought up Charlie Brown with the Redskins, then I'm going to go back to offense, Mark Clayton out of Indianapolis.
Absolutely.
Okay, you played against him. You told me you kind of roughed him up at the line of scrimmage a couple of times.
No, he's the one that gave me trouble.
Well, okay. Then I'm going to start with your homeboy who you played against in high school that you said you raised him up as a pup. Can I say his name or do I need to let you say his name?
Oh, AC, Anthony Carter.
Where did he play at?
He played at Michigan.
And then I'm going to throw another name out there in the 83 draft, Gil Bird out of San Jose State that started as a rookie.
Great player.
And then I'm going to talk about, since we were talking about special teams, we got a special guest today. Coach Bull Jones is in the house. He was talking special teams before the show. I'm going to talk about Leadfoot, Reggie Roby.
Yes, sir.
Now, the only reason I'm going to take the 83 class over the 81 class because the 83 class had 42 Pro Bowlers.
Okay.
Well, y'all had 31. But outside that, both of them were very talented classes, including yourself. Right. No means, no way I'm going to go against your knowledge because you played the game at a very high level. I'm just a guy that thought I could play at Arkansas, but I got cut. So at the end of the day, it's a pleasure and honor to have you here today. But I'm going to take the 83 class simply because the quality and the overall balance.
Okay.
And that's, I'm going to leave it at. Okay. And I'm going to say one thing that's going to be, to me, that's going to break the tie. And I saw this guy play up close and personally. I went to the University of Arkansas from 78 to 82. And to me, still this day, and I know we've had some great running backs, Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith. But Lord have mercy, that young man out of Sealy, Texas, 6'3", 220 pounds, with that great long stride, water goggles. And this is for you, Mark Bass, because he's from that area. His name is E.D., Mr. Eric Dickerson.
Yes.
That's why I'm going to use him as a tie to break my 83 class over the 81 class.
Well, Eric Dickerson was a great player.
Yes, sir.
And I saw that close in person more than anybody.
Yes, sir.
Because he played with the Los Angeles Rams.
And then we are in the same division.
And we were in the same division
yes,
at that time. And we were light up front on defense.
Yes,
and
sir.
they were heavy up front on offense with him running the ball.
Yes, sir.
It was a living nightmare. I must agree with you on that. Right?
Yeah. Yes,
but like I said, we didn't have quarterbacks like that. We had 2 quarterbacks in the draft, Neil Lomax, out of Portland State.
Yes, sir.
Played for the Cardinals. And we had...
but he had some good years, though, in Phoenix and St. Louis.
He had some good years, but we didn't have the amount of quarterbacks like y'all did. But I think your quarterbacks, you got 3 Hall of Famers.
Yes, sir.
But I think there's one of them changed the game.
Yes, sir.
So when I talk about a game changer, those guys, Kelly was great. But that guy from Pittsburgh who played with the Dolphins, Dan Marino, changed the game.
Yes, sir.
And I'm talking about game changers, right?
Yes, sir.
Every class has got great Pro Bowlers, got all-stars and great football players. But when I talk about Dan Marino,
Because you saw this up close and personal.
I saw it up close and personal. Now, I played against a lot of great quarterbacks. Him one, Doug Williams one.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I can go down the list. You know, I played against Bradshaw. I played against the Snake. I played against the old great quarterbacks,
Yes, sir.
right? And so,
Bring it.
So,
Bring it.
So I understand when somebody's special. Dan Marino was a special player. I played against him in college. As a sophomore, I was a senior at Florida State, and we beat them pretty good down there in Tallahassee.
Now, let me ask you a question. You getting hyped, bringing the energy. I love that. But since you played up against him up close and personal, was that ball like a zip? Was it zooming? Could you hear that letter zooming in there?
Well, let me say this. When I say somebody changed the game,
Yes, sir.
you can cover his receivers all day long. Be
Yes, sir.
all on top of them.
Yes, sir.
That ball will find a way to get in there with Dan Marino.
Yes, sir.
He was a special talent. And the surprising thing with me, he went at the end of the first round.
Yes, sir.
People passed him over. John Elway was a great quarterback, but he didn't change the game. He didn't change the game. Kelly was a great quarterback, won more games than any quarterback in the history of the National Football League before the GOAT.
Yes, sir.
Was Mr. Kelly.
Yes, sir.
He didn't change the game. But Dan Marino, like Lawrence Taylor,
Yes, sir.
like Ronnie Lott,
Yes, sir.
like those guys,
Yes, sir.
changed the game. And so I love that about him. And then in our draft, I'm not finished yet. In our draft, we had great offensive linemen.
Yes, sir.
The Washington Redskins became the Hogs out of the 1981 draft.
Absolutely.
All right? They even had free agents that become potential Hall of Famers.
Yes, sir.
That's not inducted yet, like a Joe Jacoby.
Out of Louisville.
Out of Louisville.
Yes, sir.
6'7" monster. Undrafted free agent. Bostic, Clemson center.
Yes, sir.
Undrafted free agent.
Yes, sir.
Mark May, Russ Grimm. They had those kind of players. The Hogs were the Hogs, and everybody know about the Hogs. All right? And so we had great offensive linemen.
Now, I got a question for you. You brought up that great offensive line. You played corner. How in the world did it feel like coming out when they went to that sweep with John Riggins and Jacoby bearing down on you at 6'7", 295?
Oh, absolutely.
Tell us what was going through your minds right quick.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right
Serious
now.
business.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. They changed the game in their scheme.
Yes, sir.
So before the '83 season, typically you get in a football game, pro game, and no matter what situation in the game, 1st and 10, 3rd and 20, you're gonna have two backs, tight end, two wide receivers in the game. Then all of a sudden, this offensive coordinator in Washington flipped the script.
Went to single back.
They went to single back, two tight ends, one tight end off the ball. They call him an H-back. And he would motion in and out and bam down on that nose guard and open holes for a back like John Riggins, who was 235-pound running back, 240-pound running back. And so they were moving people. They were very physical. You could not stop that game. And so when you got so concentrated in that game, next thing you know, here's Joe Theismann throwing these play-action passes down the middle of the field when you put 9 people in the box.
Yes, sir.
Made the game very difficult.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, and so that was the start, in my opinion, of the evolution to where the game is today. Because we went from that until 1984, Mouse Davis and June Jones invented the run and shoot offense.
Absolutely.
4 wide receivers in the game at the same time, throwing the ball all over the field like they do today. And so that was the evolution of that. It was hard to deal with the Washington Redskins in that era. They were champions 2 times, for a reason. They lost 1, but they were champion twice. They lost to the Raiders down there in Tampa. They were a great football program.
So that being said, I tell you what, if you like the video today, please come in and share it and give your vote. Which draft was better? Either the 81 draft that had this gentleman, the legend, Bobby Butler, 25th pick in the first round, or myself, Vincent Turner, who took the 83 draft. But God bless. We'd like to say thank you for watching in the video today. We hope we provide some great information. The legend, he told you, he played the game. But he took the 81 draft, I took the 83 draft. Give us your vote. If you like the video today, please come in and share it. I'm Vincent Turner, 100 Yards of Football, and joining me today is the legend, Atlanta Falcons great, Bobby Butler. And remember that name because he's moving up in the radio world, TV. Y'all have a blessed day.